Living a New Life. Musings of the Day. Play. The dictionary says that to play is to engage in an activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than for a serious or practical purpose. In other words, just for fun, with no end game other than that in mind. What a concept! Until now, I could barely relate to this. Looking back through my life, there are a few things that I remember doing that had no particular purpose other than enjoyment, but rarely have I allowed myself the freedom to do them. They were few and far between, mainly limited to vacations as an adult and time alone as a child, time when no one else was watching and judging me for whatever I was doing. I remember being alone in the woods as a kid. I didn't call it play back then, but it was a time of speaking to the spirits living there and losing track of time looking at insects crawling beneath my feet amongst the fallen branches and leaves. I felt at home there and free to be myself. Was that play? I guess you could call it that. I had no purpose other than to experience the joy of being in nature. There wasn't much play other than that in my life when I was younger. My family was serious, and the energy in my home felt heavy most of the time. So those few times when we went on vacation to the beach were precious to me. They brought with them some of the only times I can recall as playful. Looking for shells on the beach, building sandcastles with my dad, and jumping the waves in the ocean on Cape Cod are all what I still draw on when I want to conjure up an experience of being at play. As an adult, my life has been serious, filled with responsibility and challenge. There hasn't been much room for play, and I haven't seen the value of it until now. When survival was my primary goal, play seemed beside the point and actually dangerous to engage in. I had to remain ultra vigilant all the time, but there were a few times when I allowed myself the luxury of letting it all go, even if just for a short while. Going back to the beach with my sister, we were able to recapture the essence of the good times from our past by spending hours collecting shells and rocks, laughing uncontrollably, lugging it all back from the sand. We sat wiggling our toes in the sunshine and listening to the waves lap at the shore. We drank wine and talked for hours. We ate sushi and lit sage. And we let go of being responsible for a while and just had fun. Those are memories that tell me that play is not only okay, it's probably the most important element in creating the life I want at this point. It has been missing a piece that slipped through the cracks of my awareness. Without the beach or the woods or anything that I once was able to identify as play, I felt lost. How do I play and at what? What does that look like at this point in my life? Here's what I've learned thus far about creating my new life, a life connected to spirit, filled with creative projects, surrounded by nature, and focused on what I love. Spirituality does not have to be all serious. My connection with spirit can be playful as well. Up till now, it's been very intense. Perhaps because it had to deal with all that I've had thrown my way, but I'm creating a new life, and that life does not have to be a clone of what was, nor do I want it to be. My spiritual life, which is so much of who I am, now needs to include the element of playfulness and fun. I thought I'd lost that connection a few months ago. Nothing I did seemed to work, and I realize now that it was because I needed to create anew. The old ways will no longer produce the same results. Almost nothing from my old life works anymore. Spirit didn't leave. I just needed a new way of connecting, and perhaps Spirit wants me to come out and play with her this time. I'm in this womb space, learning to crawl towards what I envision, little by little finding my way from one place to another with legs that feel foreign and a bit unwieldy. There might not be a lot to draw on, but there is enough of a memory for me to build on now. I have a felt sense of what I'm after, The task before me is to take that memory and find my way to its next iteration, creating something completely new out of the old. Learning to crawl is not so unlike how I paint. I have a sense, listen to the whispers, and then inch my way towards it. I don't have to see it clearly or know exactly what I'm doing. I just have to put one foot in front of the other along a somewhat foggy path, trusting that I'm headed in the direction I want to go. This process used to feel serious to me. Now I'm beginning to see the possibility of it as play. The end game? Having fun getting wherever I'm going. Doing what I'm called to do because I love the experience of it all. Because it's enjoyable. At times I might have an end result in mind, but if the process feels like work, then the end product will not contain the spirit that I'm after. I don't want to work anymore. I want to play at creating, play at living, because as I see it from this perspective, play is perhaps the only way that I can get where I want to go. I've had enough seriousness to last lifetimes, and I'm grateful for all of it. But my life has been unbalanced in that regard. This next phase must swing in the other direction, learning what I wish I'd learned as a child. Crawl, walk, run, fly. I tried to fly before I could even crawl. I walked through the world on legs that didn't have a firm footing, and I wondered why I kept falling to the ground and crashing. Crawling gives me the ability to trust in myself, to know how to navigate with my body. And as kids learn to crawl, they laugh and play. Learning's fun for them. And that is what I am about to do. Learn to play at crawling through life and let go of thinking that I should be standing upright at this point. Let myself be a kid for the first time. Because when I'm falling from a crawling stance, I don't have very far to go. There will be time to stand upright when I'm ready. What I've learned is that play is not just for kids. Laughter is not just for vacations. Enjoyment is a necessity, not a luxury. When it all comes down to it, there's very little I have to do, but a lot I want to do just for the joy of it, because I love the process. One of the gifts of older age is that with less time ahead than behind me, it's easier to let go of the shoulds of my life and embrace the want-tos. For no other reason than that's what makes my heart sing. I don't think I've ever seen a child at play that wasn't smiling, laughing, and loving being alive. If that isn't a result worth learning to play for, then I don't know what is.